Hello, hello, my dear and lovely Taurus. This is your horoscope for August 2024. August will be kind of a mixed month for you specifically. It might be involving your house, your home, and real estate, and also about your career, about your social status, and of course, love. These topics will come forth in August for you, my dear Taurus. And for some of you, it might be about moving somewhere else. Now, let's go deeper into your August horoscope. Now, 2nd of August, we have Planet of Surprises, Uranus, which will be in a harsh angle to Venus, your ruler, planet of love and beauty. Now, Venus will be transiting your house of home, your house of family, and also house of immigration, 4th house. And Planet of Surprises, Uranus, will be transiting. It's already, which is transiting actually since 2018 in your house of career. This is our highest point in the chart. If you look at the clock, it always shows 12. Now, 10th house is where we are kind of going in our life, where we are trying to be at some point of our life, and where we are aspiring to be, who we are aspiring to be. 10th house is also where we respect people, those kind of people are exactly in our 10th house. Now, Planet of Surprises started its transit of your 10th house in 2018, and it will remain there until 2026. Now, until 2026, it seems like still, giving you all sort of new experiences. It transforming you. Many of you guys transform your thoughts around yourself, around your core self, and because 10th house is the house of career, where you are going in life, what is your social status, like being married or not being married, or being in a relationship, or being a CEO, let's say, or becoming some sort of a professional. All these topics were touched by, and still getting touched by this planet surprises, Uranus. And that's why whenever another planet comes in and says hello to this planet of surprises, those topics that gets activated for you in your life. Now, and by the beginning of August, you might be already feeling there are tension between this planet and Venus, your ruler, already by the end of July. Now, because it's happening exactly in your angle houses, my dear Taurus, seems like it's a very important angle between 4th and 10th house. They are located exactly against each other, and on the other side of the street, let's say, from each other, and it look at each other. And it's always about also citizenship. It's about your status. It's about where you call home. And it seems like by the beginning of August, those topics will come forth for you. You might be deciding where to move and whether to move or not. And it might be also because there is your planet, your ruling planet, Venus. It seems like you might be taking stance of who you are, where you want to go, where you want to move, what citizenship you want to get. If that's your case, for some of you, for many of you, my dear Taurus, that is your case. Seems like you might be changing your citizenship, or just acquiring another one, or acquiring permanent residence somewhere else, or changing your residence, permanent residence, or getting a temporary residence, because 4th and 10th house, all about that, all about foreign documents, and also where we call home, and your future. And it's also about your social status, your influence in the society, our place, like your place in a bigger society, who you are. Like, are you a mother? Are you a professional? Are you a boss? Are you just a manager? Or are you an employee? Or are you a housewife? All these things, whatever is your social status, might be in your head when these two planets will be in disagreement, let's say. Now, 4th August, we have new moon. New moon comes in and wash off all those things. Now, new moon will be amazing way, because new moon will be happening exactly in your 4th house, house of family, house of real estate also. Now, at 12 degrees, this new moon is happening, meaning those of you who are born around 4th of May, plus or minus 5 days, will be affected the most by this new moon, because and allow always any new moon and full moons 10 days of influence, like 5 days before and 5 days after. In the span of 10 days, new moon delivers message to each of us. Now, new moons are always about something new, some new beginnings, new kind of a perspective, new stories happening in your life. And this time, this new moon will be supported by 2 other planets. And lucky you, one of them will be Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck and happiness, and also a planet of expansion. Jupiter is such a great benefic in our life. It always gives positive things, it gifts us. And another planet will be Mars. Mars is the planet of action and motivation. Now, those 2 will team up in your house of income. Like you, my dear Taurus, because Jupiter it is transiting your second house of income, for the whole year until next June, 2025. So you'll have a happy period to get promoted, to apply for a new job and get it easily, to get an offer from a better workplace with a better salary. And Jupiter is natural ruler of your another financial house, 8th house. It's a house of other people's money, and also it's a house of inheritance. All the money that comes from other people, like our husband's money or wife's money. Let's say it's a family budget money. Now, you see how this financial topic is tied in with this new moon for you, my dear Taurus. And of course you love it, because Taurus is the sign actually of finances in astrology. Now, new moon is happening in your house, 4th house, in the house of family. And it seems like you might be buying a real estate by this new moon. But if you do so, I must warn you, because you are doing so during Mercury retrograde. Whole August will be Mercury retrograde. We will come to this topic in a few seconds. Let me finish with this new moon. Now, it seems like you are, kind of will be in a position of, in situation for some of you, it might be about buying real estate or selling, actually. For some of you, it might be about your family. Something new is happening in your family. And 4th house is specifically about our mother's life. It's our mom, house, let's say. And it seems like if it's not you, then something is new happening, unfolding in your mother's life, which is directly or indirectly affecting you too, my dear Taurus. Now, something new. Your mom might be experiencing something new, might experience something new, and also which will give her valuable kind of experience, because 2nd house, it's not only about finances, our income, it's also about values, what we value in life, like what our priorities are, let's say, whether it's love or friendship or some experiences or travel, all those things. It might be also, of course, expensive gifts like jewelries or real estate or a car, and your mom might get this kind of gift, very generous one, from someone around this new moon, or actually you might get that one too. You might get an inheritance as well, my dear Taurus. This might be the case too. Your family will play a huge role around this new moon for some of you. Or also, 4th house is exactly our family members, like how many people we have in our family. And this new moon seems like adding up that number, because new moon is something new, right? So it seems like maybe your family composition is getting bigger, is expanding, considering that Jupiter is here, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Whatever it touches, it makes it bigger. Seems like you will be soon welcoming new member to your family. And it might manifest in a different way, like you are getting pregnant, or you are delivering a baby, or your sister is delivering it, or brother, or they are getting married and you are welcoming new family member, or you are getting married and your family is welcoming your husband or wife as a new family member. It could be anything, actually. So this new moon might be exactly around that for some of you. And for some of you, it might be, as I said, about real estate, house, apartment, anything related to real estate. You might be buying it or already in communication with it. Now, also, 4th house is the house of citizenship and immigration. For some of you, this topic comes forth since the beginning of August, and it might be the time when you will be applying to those kind of papers like new passport or new residence permit or permanent residence permit or temporary one, or you might be already acquiring it. Let's say you might be getting it, and you might be receiving a news that you've got the residence, so to pick it up, let's say that those papers, let's say. Now let's look at the next day. Like on 5th of August, we have Venus, your ruler, moving into your 5th house, house of true love and joy of life. This is an amazing place to have Venus, because whenever we have Venus in our 5th house, we love this life, we are in love with life and with ourselves. And also 5th house is the house of our children. It brings joy. You know, Venus makes it even more joyful. Life with children, if you have them, and if you don't, then even the thoughts about children. And 5th house is also house of business, and Venus is not only planet of love, it's a planet of money. It might bring you positive surprises around your business too. And of course, as I said, 5th house is a house of true love and flirting and romance. It might give you that, you know, mood of flirting mood, or being let's say sexy and romantic. All those kind of feelings might come into your life when Venus hits your 5th house on 5th of August. Also, 5th of August, we have Mercury going retrograde. Now, when Mercury retrogrades, meaning moving backwards, it slows down everything it is related to. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication, thoughts, and our ideas. It's a planet of signing contracts. We need it very sharp when we have very important deals. We have very important contracts to sign. But Mercury this month, during whole August, it will retrograde. Meaning during Mercury retrograde, it's not advisable to sign important papers. It's not advisable to buy expensive things, because especially those, you know, things that involve electricity, like electrical appliances, technical things, because Mercury rules those things, and Mercury rules commerce as well. During Mercury retrograde, it is advisable to sell things. So if you had, and it seems like, according to your chart, it seems like you are let's say in the mood of buying real estate, I would suggest you to pause that idea until September, and preferably after 10th of September, because allow Mercury to go direct and regain its power, because we have also shadow period of Mercury, which means, you know, 10 days before and 10 days after the planet actually goes retrograde also have influence in our life, and we will be already feeling it before 5th of August, like by the end of July, because when Mercury goes retrograde, we have also quite a lot of all those mix-ups, all those cancels, let's say cancellations, and wrong orders, wrong deals, like let's say wrong data, information. All sorts of things go, let's say, confusing, because Mercury is exactly the planet of ideas and information, and we need it sharp. Now, Mercury will be retrograding until 28th of August in your exactly 5th house. Now, when Mercury retrogrades in the 5th house, you know, most of astrologers would tell you that your exes will contact you, and it's actually true in many cases. When Mercury retrogrades in your love house, it seems like you might be contacting your previous partners, or they might be contacting you, or you might be not, let's say, not necessarily in contact with them, but then you might be hearing something about their life, some sort of new information, what's going on, what's happening, all those things. Now, after 15th of August, Mercury will be retrograding, and it will cross into your 4th house, moving backwards, you know. Now, 4th house is exactly real estate house. It's exactly house of family. And here, it's very good to, you know, reorder things related to your real estate, but like some maybe family archives or some papers, but not to sign important deals like buying a new house, buying a new real estate. But if you are in the process of and trying to sell your house, this is perfect time to do so. After 15th of August, you might sell it with a good price, you know. And I have a whole separate video about Mercury retrograde, only one video on my channel, so hit that video to know more what to do and what not to do during Mercury retrograde, where I talk about also plastic surgeries, planned surgeries during Mercury retrograde. It's very interesting. Make sure to check that out. Now let's talk and move to full moon of the month. Each month we get one new moon and one full moon. On usual months, sometimes we get two full moons or two new moons. Okay, we have in August, on 19th of August, we have full moon at 27 degrees in your career house. Now, those of you who are born around 19th of May will be affected the most by this full moon, plus or minus 5 days to that birthday month, my dear Taurus. Now, this full moons are all about closure. You know, they bring to some situation some conclusions, and in some cases, it just puts your attention to some situation that needs your concrete kind of actions so that that situation will get resolved. Now, this full moon is a bit of a challenging full moon, but I would like to say from the beginning, you know, you need to stay positive, and your focus should be on positive side, on brighter side of the things, whatever will be happening, because that's what we will be, you know, surrounding ourselves with, and that's what we become, our thoughts, you know. So make sure to think positive, and whatever universe will be, let's say whatever challenge it will be bringing with this full moon, it means just it is removing from your life something or someone which is not already like serving a good purpose. Already it's already a time for that thing or a person to go away from your life. So we should be grateful and thankful and stay positive, my dear Taurus. That full moon, this 19th of August full moon, will be met by harsh angle from Uranus, planet of surprises and electricity. You never know what this planet might bring, because you know, in astrology you can never guess what this can be. Actually, it all depends on your natal chart, and it all depends in your specific situation in your life. Now, that planet is transiting your first house, your sign, my dear Taurus, actually revolutionizing, let's say, if such word exists, yourself, our core self. And full moon is happening in the 10th house, but you know, the ruler of the full moon, it's exactly this planet, Uranus. It exactly rules your 10th house. Now, it seems like there is a strong emphasis on your social status, on your, let's say, status in a bigger society, how you see yourself and how people see you, in your career. And also, it's about your, you know, aspirations. 10th house is all about aspirations, what we want to become in this life, our career ladder, and also our father's life. Or if it's not about father, then it's your manager's life, your boss life. It seems like, you know, something is finishing here. You might be quitting your job, specifically those of you who are born around this 19th of May. And it will be kind of a surprising for you. You know, it might be the decision from the company, or it might be actually your decision too. And it might be such a conscious, let's say, decision that it might surprise the company or your colleagues or your boss in general. It might be quite a sudden news, or you might receive that, let's say, your corporation is closing, going bankrupt, or anything, actually, any reason. But it seems like the topic is that you are changing your career. You are quitting what you've been doing before. And in general, what you've been aspiring to become kind of is changing for you, because here is the first house is involved. First house is exactly everything all about me. Who am I at core? Your case might be like, you know, 20 years you've been in the same area, and you've been whole your conscious life dreaming about some sort of career, let's say to become a detective or a doctor. And you've been working hard in this area, and you know, trying to achieve higher positions, but all of a sudden you might actually realize that this is not what you want to do next in your life. This is not what you want to do whole your rest of your life, let's say. It might happen too, because Uranus is, you know, transforming you and your soul. And here it seems like your values are shifting, your career is shifting, your compass, to in life, where you're moving is changing. Seems like you are deciding to move somewhere, to pursue some other career or some other calling, changing. And also, as I said, it's about social status. Now, this full moon, because it's all about endings, seems like, as I said, because it might be that you are, like, let's say, losing a job or you're quitting your job and your social status is changing, right? From, employee, now you're becoming unemployed, let's say. Or it might be about something else. It might be also giving birth around this full moon quite suddenly, and or receiving a news that you are becoming a parent quite also shockingly, because it also changed your social status, like your status in a bigger society, who you are, and your reputation and a big influence. When it comes to reputation and big influence, usually full moons put an end to that. And if that's your case, don't be sad, don't be disappointed. Universe's timing is the most accurate one. It means that you need to move on, my dear Tauruses, and you might need to start over. Let's say gaining that respect, gaining that reputation again, all over again, and be positive and be active, my dear Taurus. Also, 10th house, as I said, it's about father's life or manager's life. It might be that in your father's life is something going on. It might be him quitting a job, or it might be him losing his status, like high society status, let's say. Or it might be him who like going some sort of transformation and changing his career. All of a sudden, let's say, I had such a case when my friend's father changed by 60 years. When he was 60, he totally, let's say, changed his career, and he understood that he wants to be a fisherman, and the whole his life he was a cardiologist. Can you imagine? So these things might happen in life. You wake up and suddenly you realize that no, this is not the life that I want to do. So it might be this case too by the end of August. Now, second half of August, quite challenging one. But my advice here: stay positive, because when we are focused on positive things, no matter what happens, we actually don't notice all those things that are falling in like out of our life, because those things are not serving anymore, and it's somehow like we don't notice even, because we are too busy on the positive side of life, too busy on the brighter things, and too motivated and waking up to some other amazing things that we want to do in our life. So stay in that wavelength, my dear Taurus. Another thing will be happening exactly during this full moon. During this full moon, whole, let's say, sky and planets will be in disagreement with each other somehow. There are quite a lot of planets who will be arguing with each other. And another set of planets are Saturn, which is a planet of work and discipline and responsibilities, which is transiting your future house of future, house of hopes, and Jupiter and Mars together. Jupiter is the planet, it's the happiest planet, but it will be in argument with Saturn, and Mars also will support Jupiter and will be in argument with Saturn. Now, Mars is the planet of activity, it's an action planet, and Jupiter is the planet of luck and happiness. Both of them will be in your financial house. In Jupiter, for your knowledge, let's say it rules naturally your another financial house of other people money. And there is another planet, Venus, your ruler, also will argue with all those three planets. Now, this set of planets, and Venus will be, transiting by that time in your house of love, true love. And, it seems like your wishes are not matching your, let's say, values, some sort of, with the values of your loved one. It might be the case that the person that you are in a relationship with, or the person that you've met recently and you've been dating recently, it's not a serious committed relationship that I'm talking about, that are like long years, but those that you've been dating only recently, seems like these planets might give you realization that the hopes and the future picture that you have in your head for you and that person is not kind of matching with his picture in his head for both of you. And it seems like you might get into an argument with that person. Also, for another group of Tauruses, let's say, it might be about your kids. like let's say everything related to your kids, their future, and how to finance that future, how to meet their expectations, let's say their education, let's say costs, or any other costs. If you got pregnant and you might be some sort of in a tense kind of feeling, how you going to, let's say, provide to that kid. Or if you have them, you might be also in this kind of a tension, because this planet's indicating so, because both 11th house and 5th house, they are houses of kids and children. Now, it doesn't matter actually, it's your kids or maybe it's someone else's kids, but it seems like for some of you it might be about finances and the kids. Now, for some of you it might be totally about different thing, like a business. For those of you who are business owners, it seems like that, let's say you want to expand your business, like socially on social media or internet wide, let's say, but at the same time, kind of there are limited finances, to for marketing. It might be the case, or it might be that you've launched a marketing campaign, but then it does not kind of bring the positive results. It's not kind of bringing the income that you've calculated, let's say, from those marketing move, let's say. It might be the case. I'm going to give you quite a lot of situations, but for you to remember here, some sort of thing is going on with your business and with the marketing and money. Now, for some of you, those of you especially who are involved in a art kind of area, actors and dancers, also quite a bit of a stressful period when you might be lost about your future and how to finance yourself, how to get an income, or it might be simply about your values, your self-worth, because second house is not only about money, it's about self-worth, self-value. It might be that you kind of will be in a tension, like tense feeling within yourself, about your, let's say, your skills, worth, or their value, whether you're dancer or singer or, let's say, in the art area. This might be the time, but just so you remember, this time will pass. Planets will argue, when then they will stop, they will move on, then the picture will clear out. So stay positive, do not pay attention to this period. It will pass, my dear Taurus. Now let's move to the sun. On 22nd of August, we have sun moving into your 5th house. Again, house of joy, house of children, our creative area. Now when sun moves into your 5th house, life might become much brighter. So give that full moon 10 days to pass and to deliver it messy messages. But when sun hits your 5th house, you might again feel more power, more braver, more light in your life, because 5th house is exactly house of where we love ourselves and we love life, my dear Tauruses. Now, 28th of August, we have Mercury going direct, and Mercury being communication planet. After 28th of August, plus 10 days, meaning around 10th of September, you might, allow yourself to sign important papers, do plastic surgeries, buy expensive things, because Mercury retrograde is always messy. So try to avoid those things during Mercury retrograde. And by the end of August, Mercury goes direct. Congratulations to us. Now, this is your horoscope for August, my dear Taurus. Stay positive. Remember this: universe always gives us lessons and always tries to teach us something, and always tries to ease our life by erasing things and people that are not serving any good in our life. So stay positive. Love you all. Bye bye.